Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. It's a leg day today. We have an awesome lower body strength session that we are going to go through. In addition to that, we have a Tabata conditioning focused circuit or cardio bout that we're going to do at the very end. So in terms of equipment, you guys will today be jumping around, especially at the end of the workout. So I am going to be wearing that supportive footwear, my shoes, dumbbells, loop bands. That's what I'm going to be using today. We also have a hamstring curl happening, which I've given you guys options with the towel on the floor, feet on the towel, pulling on our feet to our heels. So that option will come into play, excuse me, towards the second superset. And of course, if you do not have a towel and or a floor, that slides. I have a dumbbell option and a very effective body weight option as well. Okay, so let's get you guys started with this warm up. We're going to come to the front of our mat, standing shoulder width apart, hands down by our sides. We'll be stepping back into a lunge. That leg that goes back, that one arm is going to reach up and over our head. And we'll come back up to the center and do the same thing on the other side. So one arm stays down, the other one goes up. We're getting a little bit of a opening through the side of the hip. So we'll go through 20 of these total, 10 per side. And trying to open up, stay as straight as possible, looking forward. And balancing. So we'll go through alternating reps, 10 per side, 20 total. These ones, and reaching that arm over to the side with a little bit of a bend so that you feel a bit of a stretch happening on that side. So we got someone popping in here. Yes, good morning, Bobby. We got one in live. All right, so once you guys are done at that one, we are going to go into a lunge where we step back and get our hands as close to the floor as possible. We'll open up towards that leg, close, and then stand up to the top. And we're doing 5 of these per side. So the goal is to get our hands flat on the floor, although that might not happen right off the bat. You might even have your hand on your knee like this, or you might have to have just the fingertips grazing on the floor. We're going through 10 total, again 5 per side. Trying to open, close. Awesome. And another one. I don't know why Zoom makes me have a waiting room, so thank you guys for being patient with me waiting there. I'll let you in manually. Okay, so we're going through these lunges. If you're just joining in here, we're stepping back, opening up towards that leg in the front, going through a couple more of those on each side. These ones feel good. We get a nice opening through the hips, through the mid-back, through the lower back. We are headed down onto the floor. Once we're done that once, you guys can come hang out down here on your hands and your knees. We're going to do some hip circles. So I'm going to take one leg and lift it up and flex the foot up towards the knee like this. So my ankle is bent at 90 degrees. We're going to lift the leg up to the side, and then from there, rotate and kick it back, and then lower down. That's 1. And I'm going to do the same thing the other way, and that's 2. And I'm doing 10 on this side. That's 3. So I extend up. I feel that squeeze on my butt. And then I'm trying to open it up to the side so that I end up with my leg sideways like this. But I don't want to be opening up through my hip like that. So I'll stop before that happens, which means your leg might not get as high. And that's completely fine. You'll be able to get it higher on that one where we're kicking back. So we'll go through 10 of these. Again, each time you lift and rotate is 1. Don't count 20, just 10, 5 each way. And then we'll do that on the other side as well, where we can relax that foot, flex this one up, and then you can go through that same rotation. And so what we're trying to do in this one is, of course, wake up the muscles in your hips. You might feel your butt working a little bit, the muscles on the sides of the hips. This one's definitely a lot more challenging than it looks, especially if you're not allowing your body to move and open and rotate and all those things. Okay, So once you guys are done those ones, we are going to stand right back up to the top into a squat stance. So we'll have our feet sitting a little bit wider than our hips, slight angle out on our toes. I'm going to sit down and try to touch the floor, and then stand and pivot that one foot as I turn towards the side and reach up to the ceiling. And then I'll come back down, and then I'll move onto my toe, rotate my hips over to the side, and then I'll sit back down. So that was 2, and we are doing 10 total, 5 per side. So by reaching over to the side, we should be getting some opening happening in the hip. You're sitting as low as your mobility allows. So maybe you can't sit all the way to the floor, and that's totally fine, but the goal eventually is to get all the way down there. So we'll go through 10 of those, 5 each way, the squat and the reach. All right, so we got a couple more in this warm up. The next one is all about loosening up our inner thighs. We're going to go into some side lunges. So we'll come over to one side of the mat, stepping out to the side. As I do that, I'm going to start to shift my hips back, and then I'll come over to this side. This leg's now going to push me up to the top, and that was 1. We're doing 10. So again, hips back, shifting to the side, feeling that stretch in our adductors and our inner thighs on both sides. Over here, and then we shift over here, and then we push ourselves up. So we'll go through 10 of those total. Show you guys from the side. Stick it out behind us so that our knee doesn't drive forward, but rather the hips go back. Same thing with this one. Your depth will depend on your mobility. Some of us will be able to get all the way down here. Others won't want to do that. We'll just want to sit kind of up here. We'll feel that same stretch, and I'll just be safer. So we'll do 10 of those. Loosen it up. The adductors, the inner thighs. There it is. Okay, so our final one that we're going to do as you guys come to an end on there is our hip-loaded step through. So this one is all about activation. We're going to try to wake up the muscles in the backside if they are not woken up already. So what we're going to do is stand in a more narrow stance. We'll shift all of our weight onto one leg. So I'm going to start on my right side because I know my right side is always a little harder than my left. And then I'm going to be standing on this leg with a soft knee. So I don't want this leg locked. I want it just soft, but we remember it does not bend. We're going to hinge the hips, so push the hips back. And wherever that foot ends up, that's okay. You should feel very tight in this standing leg. And then you guys can drive your hips forward. And we're trying to do 10 of these per side. And we'll be doing 2 sets total. So we'll go 10 and 10. As you get the hips, we can start to align opposite arms with the legs. And if you guys can see how light I'm being on that back foot, I'm not actually trying to touch the floor down. I'm trying to hinge my hips, so push my butt out and feel everything in the back side in that glute tight. So we'll do that on both sides. Then we're going to go back and do one more set before we start our first 2 exercises. So 10, 10, and then 10, and 10. And so we should be very warm in our backside. This is one of my favorite hip and glute activation exercises because it's pretty foolproof. If you are, loading up the back of your leg, and it's really easy to feel, very effective. Another thing that helps in this one is thinking about taking this knee on the standing leg and pushing it out over top of our pinky toes. What that's going to do is help us actually use these muscles on the side of our hips that are meant to be pulling our knee out to the side like this. So if you have your knee kind of caving in, and you can check that for yourself, just look down and see what's going on. If you have any of this going on here, and you're doing this with this caved in knee situation, slowly but surely you're just breaking down the stuff in your knee, and it's not going to do you any good. Also, you're not going to be getting the same feeling and work in the hip. So on this next time, on the second 10, you can think about that a little bit more, is just thinking about your kneecap going out over your pinky toe rather than over your big toe. See how it feels. Last set. So we'll do 10 and 10. Yes. And then we're gonna get you guys started. So if you want to grab a very quick sip of water, that's totally fine. We're going to get you started here with 2 exercises, woohoo, where you will need your equipment. So I'm going to give you guys about 30 more seconds to finish that up. Awesome. All right. Sumo deadlifts is what's on the menu today for us to start. So we're going to be sumo deadlifting our way through this first superset. We are going to be pairing these sumo deadlifts, which are wide stance deadlifts, where we have the dumbbells, weights in front of us, we push the hips back, and then we bend the knees to sink into that sumo stance position. So this is going to be you guys, we're doing 10 reps total of those sumo stance deadlifts. And we're going to pair this with a hip thrust, or a hip bridge rather, because we're going to be on the floor, with a band or 2 around our knees, which we'll talk about as soon as we're done our first set of these sumo deadlifts. So those of you with dumbbells, you can grab them. I have my 2 8-pounders, which is not the heaviest thing in the world. So there's a couple things that I'm going to do in this set to make this 10 feel extremely challenging. So grabbing onto our weights, if you do not have weights, what you can do is either sub this for a sumo squat and have the bands around the knees, or you can hold a band in your hands here for some upper body tension for the deadlift. So weights are in front of us. For this one, I like to have my palms face each other so that my weights don't get in the way of my knees. Hips back. As soon as the weights are right above the knees, we bend them and we push the knees out to the sides, and then we'll pull our hips back through. So we're going through 10 reps total. Now again, 16 pounds, not so hard. So I'm going to really slow down and focus on creating that tension. And down here, I'm going to hold it for 1, 2, and then I'll drive out of it. And that's going to allow me to have lots of time with this weight on my muscles, which is going to make it feel a lot more challenging than if I was to just go through and just go like this. I mean, I'm going to feel it, but it's definitely not going to give me the same benefit as if I slow and hold and squeeze and then dry out. So I'll let you guys finish up your first set here of those ones. And then we are headed down onto the floor. Now those of you with chairs, benches, ottomans, couches, something to elevate our upper back, that is an option. I don't have it in here because I don't have my chair in here right now. But what that would do is make this more challenging because we would increase the range of motion. Rather than having my upper back on a chair for this one, I'm going to add these bands around my knees. So you can do either or. Preferably, you will want this resistance around your knees. So if you do have loop bands, bring them out. We're going to put 1 above our knees. And if you have more than 1 band, we can add a second one below our knees. We're going to be laying on our back. In this bridging position here, squishing that lower back into the floor, driving our hips up to the top, opening 1, 2, lowering down, and we touch our back, not our butt. So you shouldn't feel the back of your hips touch. We should feel the lower back touch. And then we go back up 1, 2, and then we go down. We're doing 10 reps total. Now, it's important with these ones, band or no bands, that you never let your knees come more narrow than where they started. You want to go wider and wider on those abductions rather than come narrow and wide, because then we're losing out that tension on our hips. So regardless if you have the bands on or not, we want to make sure to keep the knees at least that distance and then go wider, wider. So we're doing 10 of those. The up, the 1, 2, the down equals 1. You guys are doing 10. And then we are doing it again. So we'll go through 3 more rounds of this stuff. So we have the sumo deadlifts and the hip bridges with the abductions, 10 reps and 10 reps. Now, because we are combining 2 hip, butt, backside focus movements, we will take a little bit of rest. And you do have some right now, this transition time, the time that it takes you to get up off the floor. But we'll add, another 15, 20 seconds to it by grabbing some water, walking it off, getting ourselves mentally prepared for a strong second set. So that's what you guys are going up next, is back to the deadlifts, weights, bands, whatever's in your hands, and then you can start your set. 10 reps. Whenever you guys are ready, let's do it. Let's do it. So I want to talk about those of you with bands, with the dumbbells and the loop bands, do your thing, okay? For those of you who have longer set bands, or even like the bands with handles on them, today I want to show you guys a couple ways to do these deadlifts that use these bands. So handled bands or long loop bands like this, we can have them anchored underneath our feet like so, and then I can hold this band for some resistance this way. So what this is going to do now is make this deadlift a lot harder because I have this band resistance, and I can also hold closer towards my feet to make it feel even harder. The only downside to using bands like this is that it really hurts your hands because you gotta like hold on really tight to the bands. So yeah, and that's a personal preference. That's probably just me because I'm used to using dumbbells and cables and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're doing that with a band, you're feeling really uncomfortable in your hands, you'll remember that I said this, and it's normal. So we'll go through the second set, and you guys are back down on the floor for that hip bridge with the abductions, 2 of them at the top of every single rep. For the booty. So we've been practicing this sumo deadlift for like months now. You guys should be getting really confident in your form and really, feeling good in the sumo deadlift. I want to talk about it a little bit though, because just as other stuff, sometimes we can be doing it, we can be feeling good, and there's still a few tweaks that we can make to make it more effective in terms of what we're using. So I'm in this sort of wide set stance. I have my toes pointed out to the side. We start the movement by pushing the hips back, and then we want to bend the knees, but not only just bend them, it's really important here that you guys are pushing your knees out to the sides, and it's gonna feel very excessive, especially if you're not having this part added in yet. So let's try to think about that, all of us on this next set here, is not only just driving the hips back, but we have that angle out in our toes, which is to promote our knees to go out and over top of our pinky toes. So we'll try to add that in here on this third set. Again, hips back, and then we bend the knees, not only bending them, but also pushing them out. See how that feels, because that's going to help you again get that outward tension just as that step through one, and actually use your glutes, the muscles on the sides of your hips, which is what we want for you. All right, nice job, you guys. So we'll work through this third set. One more to make it 4 total, and then we are done with sumo dips. Woohoo! Yes. Nice. Yes. Knees out look so good. Good work, you guys. All right. So we'll go through these reps. 10 of them total. Followed by 10 down on the floor. Let's have one more set after this, and you have lots of time, about 4 minutes, to go through this final set. So let's get it. All right, so hustling your way down onto the floor so you can get right going into that third round down there of that hip bridge. Woohoo! There it is. So again, remembering that rule, we want the knees to stay a certain distance apart, and then they go wider than that. They're never coming more narrow. All about pushing the knees out. Yes, and I know it makes everything feel a lot harder, which is the goal. So you're using more stuff around your hips to do the movement. And why wouldn't you want that? More bang for your buck in the best way possible. So once you guys are done, and we'll take that little bout of rest here. We have one final set. You have about 3 minutes to do it, to get through it. So you have some rest time. Awesome. Nice work, you guys. So we'll go through this final set. We want a nice, strong contact with our core. We're pulling in our belly button. Shoulders are lifted behind our ears. So our chest is nice and high. Arms are straight. And we'll go through this final set, finishing just as strong as we started here, guys. 10 reps, which is definitely a lower rep range. We've been doing sets of 12, 15s in these, so definitely make it hard because sometimes 10 cannot be that hard. If you're used to doing like 15 and stuff like that. So pause at the bottom. Overall, just try to find that tension in your body and keep it there. Last set of them. Woo. There we go. 10 total. Yes. Nice work, you guys. And then we'll finish up down on the floor for that hip bridge with abductions, which, if you're using 2 bands, should be quite feeling. So definitely, again, optional on the use of both bands. Preferably, we'll want one right above your knees, and then that second one will go right below your knees. Not very helpful. Black pants and the black band. But if it's too high, it's not going to do much. And if it's too low, it's also not going to do much because we have that abduction happening. So we want the resistance mostly around the knees. And this is your last set. Let's get it. Yes. Now, once you guys are done, woohoo, you can grab yourself some water, stand up, we'll walk it up. We are going to actually be back down there though, but we're going to go over the other exercise. A new superset coming at you guys. So 2 new exercises. Hamstring curls, we've been there before. That is the second one. The first one is going to be our single leg deadlift to lunge. But instead of just a normal lunge, we're going to be subbing in that back lunge for a curtsy lunge. So you guys are going to be stepping back and over to the side. So as you come to an end on that hip bridge, again, if you want to just grab a quick sip of water and then come on up here and let's get started on these single deadlift to curtsy lunges. So it's a combo move. Now the curtsy lunge, curtsy, it's kind of in the name. What we're doing is we're having that back leg that we normally send here in our lunge. It's going to be going back and beyond that front foot over to this side. Now this one can be a little bit funny if you haven't done this one before because we feel like we want to kind of twist and turn our body, but when we do that, that becomes quite unsafe on our knees. So it's really important that our hips stay squared off in front of us and we're just having the hips go here. What this leg back there is doing is having more stretch happen on this side, which you guys will feel. So if you want to practice just a couple of those curtsy lunges, just to kind of feel them a little bit. If you haven't done the curtsy before, maybe it's been a hot minute since you've done the curtsy lunge, kind of play around with it. We're going to incorporate this into that single deadlift to curtsy lunge. We're doing 8 reps on each side. So I'm going to be using weights, holding both weights on one side. So I have my 16-pound situation going on here. I'll start off on this side here, doing that single leg deadlift, which is all about the balance, hips back, and then we'll step back and over into that curtsy lunge, and then drive the knee up, that's 1, and you guys are doing 8, all the way up, and then we have that curtsy, and that's 2, and I'll show you guys from the front so you can see what's going on. Full balance, so we lunge, and then it's not too far over, but it's just enough that we feel more stretch happening on this front leg here. So we'll go through again 8 total. Now at any point, for those of you, for my friends watching this who have sensitive knees, if this one doesn't feel good, don't do it. Just do our normal step back lunge without having that curtsy situation on, because if it doesn't feel good, then I just don't want you guys to do it. It has to feel safe. And you know the bad pain the kind of pain I'm talking about. It's that sharp, pinchy, not so good pain that I trust we all know by now, and we will not work into because we know better. All right, so we're doing these on both sides, you guys. We have 8 and 8, and you can switch sides from the lunge into that curtsy. And my band friends, you guys have that band anchored around your foot down there, loop band in your hand for that banded resistance. Okay, so take your time. Take your time. With this one, we have a hamstring curl. So like I was saying at the very beginning, those of you who have a floor that's slippery and something to put your feet on, we can do the one where we're on our back, pulling in our heels in that bridge position. I didn't bring my towel out today because I want to talk more about the dumbbell hamstring curl and the body weight one. That being said, if you have that as an option, or maybe you actually have sliders that you can put your feet on and pull them in, that's a great option, and you can do that. You guys have seen my technical difficulties because this floor, just the way it slots, doesn't really work as well. So I'm going to talk about the hamstring curl using my dumbbell, laying on my tummy. So you guys are going through 15 reps, 1-5. So we have a higher rep range on this one. I have my dumbbell here, and it's just an 8-pounder. And really, the weight doesn't matter. You want to go lighter on this one because you can make this harder by simply squeezing your feet together more. And I cross my hands over, put my forehead on my hands, and then I'll straighten out my legs and then pull them up to 90 degrees. So when we're doing this, we're trying to keep a nice tight grip on that dumbbell, and we're going through 15 reps total. Those of you who do not have dumbbells, maybe your dumbbell's too heavy or whatever it is, we have a extended bridge where we're going to have our feet out further than we normally do in a bridge, which is going to be a hamstring targeted bridge. And so this is an option for those of you who do not have dumbbells. And then like I was explaining, if you want to put your feet on something and actually slide them in and out with the hips up, also a great option. Okay, so this is you guys. Now with these ones, once you're done, you can stand up. We will take, again, just a little bit of rest here, about 30 seconds before we go into our second set. You guys are completing 3 more sets. 4 is our number to beat today. So once you're done, you can grab some water real quick, and then we will go into our second set. Yay! All right, so 15 now, reps down there. And you can stand up. Should be feeling the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Good job, you guys. All right, so we're taking this little bout of rest. The first one we did there, that combo one, is a very backside, like butt-focused exercise, but your hamstring also does work a lot. In that deadlift, this guy is doing a lot of that work, and then in that curl down there, that is the focus, which is why I'm saying take just a little bit of rest here so that we can have a stronger set. So try not to be too antsy when you stand up. But if you're feeling ready, we can go through our second set, starting back with this first one. We want the one side loaded weight, deadlift, all the way up, and then that curtsy lunge. So balance is happening here. I want you guys focusing on your balance, trying not to touch the floor between each of those reps. Rather, keep that foot elevated. And we've been doing some crazy stuff over the past couple weeks to help us hopefully improve our balance from that eyes closed training to simply just practicing balancing. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more confident. And when in doubt, if you are really unable to hold your balance, you guys have that free arm. And I would highly prefer you to lightly graze something with this free arm rather than touch your foot down between every one of those deadlifts. But you already probably knew that. So we'll go through both sides, 8 and 8. I know these ones are quite long to get through, essentially 16 reps on each side. There we go. Just breathe through them and get through the second set. There we go. So we'll get going on second round. I'm trying to hustle right down onto the floor if you're doing your, both of them. All of the options are down here on the floor. They're dumbbell. So usually how I set up for this one, because I know if you're doing this dumbbell hamstring curl, it can be a little awkward. Sometimes you have to like get up and move the dumbbell and get back in and get up and move it. So a little hack that I have is to just set up like this to start. Have your dumbbell upright, which again really works better for like these squared off dumbbells that like to sit up like this. And then have my feet, the middle of my feet kind of already in position around the dumbbell. And then I'll walk myself down, and then I'm already there, and I can just pick it up and start my set. And I don't have to like fumble around with anything. And then usually when I'm done, I just kind of drop it and like as lightly as possible, because we're at home and our floors and stuff. But I don't try to position it correctly or anything like that, as usually I'm pretty tired by the end of the set. And sometimes that can be a little sketchy, having to like turn back like that. All right, 15 for the hamstrings. For the back of the legs. Now, as much the hamstrings, these are a group of muscles that run out of the back of the legs. These ones are very, very prone to injury. That's why you guys have probably never heard like, oh, I pulled my quad. It's mostly I pulled my hamstring, which hopefully that does not happen to any of us, but you probably have had that maybe happen to you in the past, or generally just heard it, because they are very sensitive to injury, these muscles. So that's why we are working them, because lots of times we feel like we have tight hamstrings, and no matter how much mobility and stretching and flexibility we do, oftentimes it's the fact that they are tight and weak. And so that is a really bad combination. And so the stretching, the mobility, all that stuff is important, but also actually working your hamstrings is really important too, because we don't do anything in real life to work them. Whereas the quads and the front of the legs, we do stuff in real life. Every time you get up off a chair, you're working your quads, you're working a little bit of your glutes, but these guys, they never really get any of that little sneaky underlying real life work, which is why it's really important that you're doing them here and you're feeling them and focusing on them. So we'll definitely try in our next 2 sets, which you guys have already started, to really get that going on back there in the hamstrings. And I'm also going to talk about what to do when you start to feel your calves, because the hamstring and the calf muscles, these guys work together to bend the leg up like this. And what's happening in your foot sometimes will influence where you feel this most. So I'll let you guys finish up this little combo here. And then as we get down to our next set of the hamstring curls, I'll talk about that. Talk about all the things. Nice work. So we'll go through those ones. Nice work, you guys. So take your time with those 8 and 8 on our third set here. One more to do after this. And when we come down to our hamstrings, if any of you watching this are feeling your calves, that happens, the calves, whenever we point the toes like this. So if I'm pointing my toes, I'm going to be activating this calf muscle. Whereas if I flex my foot like this, I'm going to be stretching it. So I'm essentially turning it off, like taking it out of the picture when the foot is like this, and then I'm turning it on and I'm making it work when the foot is like this. So regardless of what type of hamstring curl you're doing, whether it's one on your back, one with the weight, or even if you're at like a gym with a machine or something like that, that will make a huge difference. If you have your toes pointed like this, if you have your feet flexed like this. So let's try that out in this set. We'll try to get this position going on with our feet as we pull in, and then again, we really just gotta keep that dumbbell in close so that we don't lose it. Nobody wants that. So again, you guys can flex your feet up, squeeze the dumbbell, and then we'll go through this set and we'll see how it feels. And in theory, we should feel a little bit more through here and less through our calves. All right, so 15 reps. Again, nice, careful dismount. All right. You guys have one more round. The last set. Hoo-wee. Good job, you guys. Okay, so the last set. Once you guys are done, and you can grab some water. We're gonna move on to the last set of these two. And then after this, we have two more exercises which are actually on a timer. Yay! You do not have to count, but it is strength and it's gonna burn. And then the last part is our Tabata conditioning. Yay! So if you don't know what Tabata is, I think most of us do, but you'll find out when we get there. So we'll go through our final set here. Good work, you guys. Make sure our timer is set up. Awesome. Okay. Good job, you guys. So we'll keep going through, doing our thing here. Final set. We lunge to curtsy, and then those hand curls. Ooh-wee. So again, take a little more mental rest if you need it, and then when you're ready, you guys can go into your final set of these two. Yay! We got lots of time. You guys have about 6 minutes until we should be starting our next part. Actually, I take that back. You guys have about 2 or 3 minutes, so you actually don't have that much time. So we should be starting our final set right about now, if not within the next 10 to 20 seconds, so that we can finish on time. Get all this fun stuff in. All right, so last sets, 8 and 8, and then 15 of those hamstring curls. Let's do it. Good luck, you guys. So we'll go through these ones, taking our time with it. Whoop, whoop. Last set of these two. There it is. So same thing on this last set. We're trying our very best to finish just as strong as we started on both sides, keeping it even on both sides, trying our best. There it is. Good job, you guys. Okay. So we'll give you guys about 1 more minute here to finish up doing your thing, which I feel is just enough time. All right. Okay, you guys, nice work. Good job. Should be getting close, if not there. Woohoo! All right. So as you guys come to an end, we'll just give these guys another 30 seconds or so to finish up their sets. Woohoo! We're going to move on to the last part of our lower body strength. Okay, and like I said, it is on a timer, so yay. So we're gonna start talking about these two exercises that we're pairing together that are on this timer that is gonna take us to the end of our leg strength. You guys are gonna be working here. This timer is set for 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So that 20 seconds is really just transition time. It's rest, yes, but it's mostly time for you to get ready and set up for the next one. We have a wall sit going on. For those of you who do not have a wall available to sit on, you are going to be holding a squat in a squat hold. With that one, we're going to pair it with a pulsing lunge, which we'll talk about on this timer because we got to start so we can get through this because you guys have 4 sets total. So we're going to start off with that wall sit and or squat hold. If you don't have a wall, you want 90 degrees with the knees back on the wall. Are you ready for this? Ready or not, I'm starting the timer in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. That was a very subtle beep, but it was a beep. Let's do it. So again, if you do not have access to a wall to sit on, you're just going to sit preferably 90 degrees. But again, anywhere between here and here is okay. We just hold. You just stay here. Don't go anywhere. When we're in either of these, the sit or the squat hold, we want to pull your belly button in. If you're wall sitting, we can push our lower back into the wall to help really activate our core. And if you're squat holding, you just have to think about it. Think about really pulling it in. 30 seconds left. Ooh, let's go. Good work, you guys. Yes, this one. 15 seconds of you breathing through this. It's been a little bit since we've held the wall sit for a whole minute. We've had counting stuff to do in it. But welcome back to the minute, you guys. 3, 2, 1. Time. Nice work. Okay. So with this one, we're going to do a front-loaded pulsing back lunge. So you guys are going to grab onto your weights. If you do not have weights, you can hold a band up here. And we are going to step back, come all the way up and down, and then up into the front. That's 1, and I'll alternate. And that's 2, and that's your beat to start. So we come up, we go down, and then we stand up to the top. So you can control a lot of this, how big your pulse is, how low you're going, and that will all influence how hard this is. You can also put those weights down here, which makes it a lot easier because our abs, our core, our shoulders doesn't have to work so hard to keep those weights up. And of course, those of you with no weight, you are just kicking at body weight, trying to really work into that pulse, getting that full range. So we want to go all the way down and up, and then back down. Not just a little eager pulse, we want the whole damn thing. 20 seconds left. The big pulse. So that you're pushing up onto your back toe, and then we come down. Yes. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Put it down, put the weights down. Get yourself ready for your second set because we are going back into that wall sit, and it starts in 10 seconds. So you guys can come get yourself situated. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So 90 degrees. We have our hands on the wall in front of us. We can do whatever we want to try to get through this entire minute, whatever it is. But try your best to not rest your arms and hands on your legs. That's creating some leverage, and it's essentially your body's sneaky way of cheating. So keep those hands away from the thighs. Keep your chest up. And that goes also, of course, for the squat hold. You want to keep those arms up. Ooh, halfway, you guys. 30 seconds left. If you're not going to make it, just kind of sit a little bit higher than you are right now. And that is a preventative measure so that you can keep holding for 20 more seconds. Yes, you can. I believe you can. I know you can. Just got to breathe right here. 10 seconds left. We'll take about 3 more deep breaths, and we will be there. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Nice work, you guys. All right. It's very questionable which one of these is more challenging. I think the wall sit, because it's kind of just like you got to hold there and just think about your burning legs the whole time. These lunges are a little bit distracting. I don't know. To each their own. All right, but we're going to do them again, and they start right now. So we'll go through that whole rep all the way up to the top. Trying to keep those dumbbells lifted up to 90 degrees. If you're working with a band, you can have that banded resistance, but you know that your shoulders are going to be on fire. Same with the dumbbells, of course, but if it's too much, just put them down and keep going with the legs because we have 30 seconds left. There it is. Again, for sensitive knees, we're simply just not going to sit so low. So you'll still go through that whole pulse, and you'll come up and you just won't sink all the way down. The other thing that you can remember is that we want the hips to go back rather than the knee to go forward. And that's, again, just going to help give you another underlying safety precaution around your knees if you have sensitive ones. 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job. All right, put those down. Third set, 2 more, home stretch now. And then we have the last part, which is Tabata, and it takes us about 12 minutes total. So I don't know how that makes you feel, but that's what's up. That's what's happening for the last part. All right, here we go, you guys. While sitting for our third set, this is the second last time that you have to do this. So we'll try to make contact, squishing that lower back into the wall. You can have your arms up, out, whatever you want to do, and we'll hold this. Now, for those of you, those freak people out there that find that this is easy, the 60-second wall sit hold, a couple things that you could do. These toe lifts. So if we actively lift up both toes like this, oh, just try it. But you gotta stay down there for 20 more seconds. But those toe lifts will absolutely just crank it up a notch or 5. They make it a lot harder. We can do 1 at a time, but you might end up starting them and then having to stop because they're so hard. And you have 15 seconds left to hold this. Yes, you do. Good job, guys. One more deep breath. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good job. Lunges, and then one more set, and then we are moving on to the final part. Okay, so grab onto your equipment. 10 more seconds here to breathe, load them up, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So again, I'm pushing my hips back, full pulse, all the way up to the top. Oh, for the legs. There you go. So we'll try our very best to stay going consistent with this one for this entire amount of time. Full pulse at the top. At any point, if you're not going to make it, try your best to just breathe through and at least going in the lunges, or maybe you'll do a smaller pulse instead of that full-on big one that I want. And that is the worst case scenario. Only if you're not going to make it. You have 10 more seconds, so I think you can just try to breathe through and get through doing it the full-on way. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. Last set, my friends. We're going to do it. 60 seconds on these 2, and then we are moving on to the last part. Woo! And then we are done, and it's Friday, and we can get on with our days and feel amazing because our workout's done. All right, but let's get it done first. Into wall sit. 3, 2, let's go. And this is your last set, which means we're all going to try our best to just stay here for 1 minute. 90 degrees at the knees. Core is strong. We are breathing. Chest is up. We want our shoulders into the wall. You guys are holding it here. Same thing with the squat hold. Want to make sure we're not folding over like this, which is a common thing that happens in the squat hold. Chest up, hips down. We have 30 seconds left. Ooh. So this is a perfect example of the kind of burn that you can work through. I know sometimes it feels like you're not going to make it. You have 15 seconds left, though, to breathe through the burn in your legs. Let's go. Nice work, you guys. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good job. So we're going to rest a little. Move on to our final set of the lunges. All right. So grab your weights, grab your stuff. Come up to the front of your mat. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Final set. So we're alternating reps, going through these ones with as much control as possible. There it is. Good Good job, you guys. So we have about 30 seconds left, just over 30. Let's do it. Get through it. There you go. All right, let's go, let's go. 15 seconds left on these lunges, which is at least maybe 2 more per side. All right, good job, you guys. 3, 2, 1, and time, and rest, and you guys are done this part. Nice work. So we're gonna walk it off, breathe, grab a quick sip of water. We have our final part here, which I believe might send us a little bit over time, but that's okay. We're gonna get through it anyways. If for some reason you guys have to leave right on that hour, that is absolutely okay, but we'll probably go maybe 2 or 3 minutes over. So let's start Tabata. You guys are going to be working with 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We have 8 sets of these 3 exercises, and we're just going to get through these back to back. No rest in between, except that little 10 seconds of rest between each set. So we're going to do this first exercise, which is our squat jumps. I'm going to show you guys a little fun variation that we're going to work on today, which is our 180-degree squat jumps, which absolutely are not necessary to do. For those of you who don't jump, of course, I have an option for you. But we're going to start here, 20 seconds of that, 10 seconds of rest, doing that 8 times, and then we're going to do that on 2 different exercises. Okay? Are you guys ready? As ready as we're ever going to be? All right. So we are starting. Let me just set this. It's set for 6, 8. All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So low impact. We can squat and come up onto the toes rather than going into that jump. And on the flip side, if it's just that 180 degrees that makes you a little uncomfortable, you can just jump and have your feet lightly leave the floor rather than go all the way around. And rest. Okay, so now 10 seconds, we're walking, we're breathing, we're doing it 7 more times. 3, 2, here we go. Yes, let's do it. So we're trying to get through these with a nice pace, holding that pace. 10 more seconds here. Good work, you guys. When in doubt, just squat it out. Rest. Good job. So in between your sets, you can keep moving. You can stay there, ponder your life, whatever you want to do. But we want to stay really ready because there's really not a lot of rest in between these sets. And once we're done these 8 rounds, we are done this 180-degree squat jump. So yay. So we're going to try to be as strong as possible right now. And rest. Nice work, you guys. Okay, so breathing. Woohoo! All right, let's go. Number 4. Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is going to take us to halfway there. Let's do this. So especially if you're doing those 180 jumps, trying to use the arms as some momentum and rest. Nice work. Nice work, guys. We're halfway. We've done this one. Here we go. And that is our beep. Let's do it. So we're trying to just get through these. So the idea behind this Tabata is really to make it manageable for you to do this exercise for 4 minutes straight. Because that's what's happening here. I know that sounds kind of crazy, rest, kind of daunting that you're doing these squat jumps for 4 minutes. But the way we're breaking it up with the 20 on, the 10 off, it actually makes it possible, which is the whole idea behind this. So we want to really push ourselves on this 20 seconds. But more importantly than like going as hard as we can, we want to pace ourselves so that we don't have to stop within this 20 seconds. So I've given you guys lots of options on those squat jumps. So if you can't keep doing the first one, try the second one, try the third one, because you have to do it 2 more times, and then we are done this one. We're going to move on to the next one. All right, let's go. Second last set. So we're trying to move quickly for the low impact version, trying to move our bodies so that we're getting our heart rate up. Yes, good job, you guys, landing as softly as possible. 3, 2, 1 more. 1 more. We can do this. This one totally kind of catches up to you. Probably already has. All right, let's go, you guys. So we're trying to land as softly as possible. So we shouldn't make too much noise on that landing. Trying to go right into the squat. Nice job, you guys. 3, 2, 1. Time and time. Good job, you guys. Okay, grab some water. We're going to take about 30 seconds before we start our second exercise. There's 2 more to do. The next one. Oh, the next one is a variation of a burpee. So we know burpees are hard to begin with. We're going to leave out the push-up, the chest to the floor. We're doing an athletic burpee. So hands down, we go out, we go in, and we go up. If you want to jump for joy at the top, you can do that, but I don't need you guys coming down chest to the floor unless you want to. Unless you want to make this harder, then if you do this, it's going to make it a lot more challenging, okay? So 20 seconds of this, 10 seconds, we can either spend down there, up here, whatever we want to do, and we're doing it again, 8 times. Ready, set, and here we go. Now, this is a lot of up and down, so you guys can start off, if you're low impact, again, we're stepping out, stepping in. You can start off with trying to do this one as best you can. And at any point, if you are feeling a little too much up and down, you can always sub for either a climber or simply just a plank hold instead. And rest. So like I said, if you kind of get caught up on the floor, you can just stay down here if you want and like start your next set from down here. All right, here we go. So we're going through for 10 more seconds. Woo! This one. We got this though. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Good work, you guys. So again, we are breathing. Third set, let's go. Same as that first one, the first 2. Let's do it. Now, if we were to get serious about this, I would have you guys count, or maybe I would count for you if we were like together right now. We would count how many of these you can get in that 1 minute, or that 20 seconds, sorry, rest. So if that's something that you want to try, I want you to count your next set and see how many you can do. And then the goal here, let's do it. Here we go. See how many we can get and count them. So we'll see. You guys have 10 more seconds left, so you're counting your reps. Yes, yes, yes. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, so there, that was your 4th round. We have 4 more. The goal is for you to maintain the same thing that you just did there. So by counting them, you know what your standard is and you know what you should be getting. Here we go. 75. Not necessary, you guys, but it does make a big difference, especially if you are someone who kind of struggles to push yourself and stuff like this. If you have an actual like set number or set amount of reps that you need to get in that 20 seconds, oftentimes it'll make you just work harder and more efficiently to get that number. Rest. And I put these 1 second because I did not want to put them last because we want to get them done, right? All right, here we go. We have 2 more after this one. We can do this. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to pace ourselves so that we can finish up strong here. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay, last 2. This is it on these athletic burpees. Ready? Here we go. Second last time you're here. Nice work. Come on, come on, come on. Good work, you guys. 3, 2, 1. Rest. All right. 1 more set. We got this. last set, and we'll take again that 30 seconds with one more 4-minute Tabata, and then we're done. Let's get these burpees in though, right now, right here. Let's go. Good job, you guys. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. 10 seconds left. Come on now. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, grab a quick sip of water, you guys. Again, this is your reminder that we are at that hour time of the class. We're gonna go about 4 or 5 minutes over. So if you do have somewhere to be, I completely understand. But if you can stay, then let's do this thing, the last Tabata round. So the same style, same format, 20 on, 10 off, 8 sets. New exercise. We know our lateral ski hops. We've been here before, these ones. What we're going to do today is do these for distance and see how far we can jump while landing softly, of course. For those of you who are low impact, we can just take little steps traveling sideways. Or again, you can always sub in for anything else, maybe a toe tap or something else just to get your heart rate up, okay? We're gonna do this for 20 seconds. And again, we're going here and we're going to try and see how far we can get starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's do it. So this is trying to land as softly as possible. 2 feet leave, 2 feet land. 10 seconds. Oh yeah. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so a bit of a contrast to how we normally do these. Normally we're doing these little tiny hops and we're trying to get as many of these in, whereas I'm trying to see how far we can jump. Second set, but it's really important that we're landing soft in our knees and our hips so that we don't have any twisting going on or jerking stuff happening on our knees. If you're feeling like you can't really control that, then you can again go into these steps, or maybe just don't jump as far. Maybe just have a bit of a smaller distance. Rest. Good job, guys. All right, here we go. Let's get it. Let's do it. Third set. Getting through it. There you go. And trying to be explosive, powerful. Exhale, jump. 3, 2, rest. Nice work. Okay, approaching our halfway point. Yay. We got this. Ready and go. Number 4. Halfway set. Let's get it. Okay, most important thing, if you're getting your heart rate up, you're pushing yourself, you're making yourself uncomfortable in whatever you're doing for this 20 seconds. But you're not going so hard that you have to stop. 3, 2, only on this 10 seconds here. All right, we have 4 more. We are done. Like, done. Here we go. Number 5. So we can use our arms to help us add a little bit more distance to the side, a little bit more momentum, but safety first. We know that. We live by that. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Good work, guys. 3 more of these, and then we are resting for the very last time, which I know is good news for all of us. All right, here we go. 20 seconds. Last 3 sets. 2 more after this one. Let's go. You got this. You so do. Came this far. We ain't gonna slow down now. 3, 2, rest. 2 more. 2 more. Take those deep breaths. Here we go. 8. Not a lot of rest. Right into it. Let's do it. Second last set, you guys. There it is. Move your body. It's the most important. Come on, stay with us. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1, and a rest. And we're going to take 10 seconds and do our final set. And then we are resting for the very last time. You guys ready? Set. And here we go. Final round. Final 20 seconds. We want all of it right now, okay? Finish strong. so that you can feel good and feel accomplished knowing that you gave this all that you have. And you got 5 more seconds to make that happen. Let's go, let's go. 3, 2, 1, and time. Good job, you guys. Okay, so we're gonna walk it off right now. Please take a couple of minutes to just rest and grab some water. First off, thank you guys for working with us. Been a little overtime, that's okay though. Sometimes it happens, and we gotta just do the workout to find out. But stretching. So you guys, in terms of stretching, I am gonna leave you guys to stretch on your own. Plus, you have to just rest a little bit here because your heart rate is probably up in your neck, and we wanna just let it come down a little bit so you can stay moving around your room, stay walking. That helps our heart rate come down more efficiently to stay moving. You can grab some water as you go through it. As you guys feel a little bit more normal, a couple stretches you can do. Anything for your lower body, from your glutes, maybe the one on your back, to your hamstrings if you want to give those guys a stretch out. And definitely our calves, if you did join me on that jumping around stuff, this one is a good one to do here. And then last but not least, our hip flexor stretch, which I'm always ragging you guys about. This is always a good one to do, especially after all of the leg work that we just did. So if you have time, please take it to do a couple sets of these stretches. But you guys are done with me. Thank you so much to Bobby and Carly for joining me live. You guys rock for coming out live. Whoop, whoop. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Bye. See ya. And my replay watchers, thank you guys so much for another amazing week of training, aka watching the replays and getting your workout in your own time. You guys rock. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.